Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to talk about our day today and how we got short at 1875 and covered at 15 and 13s. And here's I'm going to go over this execution here, the short and the three covers, with live trading footage now.
Now again, if we do push back above and push above the A high and stall out and form some excess and come back below, with the Advanced decline now being a bit off its highs, right? It's at our low is 350 now, the high is 1100. If we do come back above with a negative AD divergence and put in some excess and come back below, I'll get short for a move back down to low of day. But that's only if you get above the high of day, push and stall and come back below, then I'll get short, right? Because then it's still in my zone above 18 to 22, a 0.25 is in my zone still. So if we get above 19, come back below, I can get short still in my red zone for a move back down to low of day if that comes. So that's my plan, short side and long side. You guys already know 08. So it's either going to be 08, 07 or a push above 20 and come back below for the short. I can't do anything within this range here. Just no edge for me here right now. So yeah, so far the only valid long I saw was the first test into 1413 with positive tick and a nice AD when ES was pretty much flat on the day. That was the only long that I saw that was valid, and everything else is just noise to me at this point. Okay, so I will be watching how we react above 19 to 20. I will be watching to see if we hold and push above, or if we just get a quick pop and stall and come back below. I'll be watching very closely to see how the action is what's happening with the price action. If nothing is crazy if the buying is weak above 19, I'll look to get short if it comes back below. So ideally we don't accept trade above yesterday's POC. Ideally it's just a quick pop and rejection and back down, right? If we start to accept above yesterday's POC and hold higher, I'll skip the short and wait for overnight high test and potential fail. But for now, I want to see a push above the A high, a rejection of yesterday's POC, and back below. If we hold above 1975 and 20, if it holds above, then I'll skip it. But if it's just quick pop and back down, then I'll look for the short. And so far we have rejected, right, the POC, but it didn't give me any valid short setup. I have to see a push above and back below. Like the first push back up into 19s, it wasn't valid for me because of how high the AD was and tick was holding positive. But at this point, with AD being well off its highs and seeing how much the Russell has came off its own highs, it looks a lot better for me now if we do retest and fail than the first time. The first time to me was a little bit of a gamble if you took a short. Yeah, it was a nice zone, but everything was so strong. Besides obviously the Dow and Nasdaq, that it could easily just push back above into low 20s, right? So that's why I skipped it on the first test. I'm still waiting. I can't trade this. It's just way too range bound. I have to wait until the higher low gets taken out and then go from there. It's pretty much like being a snake. Like you see the mouse, it's close by, but you're waiting until the mouse gets super close, so it's like a guaranteed kill, right? Like if I get involved in value, I can just get chopped around, right? I just can't do it. I have to wait until one side gets taken out and someone stops gets like either the shorts or longs, their stops get ran, and then I can go from there. But here I can't do anything here. It's just way too. There's no edge anywhere in here unless you're scalping the highs and lows, which that's okay too, right? But it's not for me. I'm waiting until one side gets broken. So ask a question. Oh yeah. If we get back below 3010, wondering what 3004 looks like to you was an issue. Yeah, I have it. I have 0325 right here. A few ticks below. It was a very big area for me. Yeah, I believe that was the low of the balance before. Check. It was the balance low before he snapped. One of them. This is weekly RTH real fast. It's hard to see on the weekly. It's a lot easier on the daily, but I have 3,325 just because over here it's where we snapped right below 75 on this day. We snapped it and failed back above and pushed below. So yeah, 04 is nice, but I'm a few ticks below. 04 to 03 is the exact same area, right? It's the same area, but I have this as a level. It's where we snapped and failed and pushed back above, and it's a confliction point for me. So I have the 03s as a level for me. It's next to your 04. I just found the 03 to be a bit more important than 04. It's the exact same thing though. Whoever asked that question, Randy. I know it's boring, guys, but that's what it's all about. It's not supposed to be fun, right? Most of the time, it's just about waiting for the trade to come to you. So, I mean, the boringness comes with it, right? It's just you have to deal with it. If you're a gambler, you can go like to a casino and have fun over there, but over here, it's serious. Just waiting, just watching for now. So again, I do want to say push above 20, rejection, and come back down and stall, and make it short for the pullback. If we push above 20 and hold above yesterday's POC and build value higher in the 20s, then yeah, I have to skip it. But if we just push above real fast and come back below, like a quick pop like a volcano and come back below, I'll get short. And then once I do get short, so I want to see the B high reject, not accept, right? So then I can be a bit more prudent with my risk management. I can, if the B high starts to hold, I may not have to wait for my stop to get hit. I can just take it off right there for break even, right? So I can be careful with it. And I'm watching to see if we break out above 20 and how it reacts above the high. If it only takes out by 1 or 2 ticks, I'll skip, but I have to see it take out by at least 2 or 3 ticks and then come back under. Like a one tick break of profile, it's still a poor high, right? I want to see some excess, at least a few ticks. Like 1 tick is nothing. I'm waiting for them to come. Like I'm waiting until they're here. Like if we take out the highs and back under, that shows me that no real buyers, and that's when the delta can have like a correction and some profit taking comes in, right? If you go above the high and fail, you can see some of this delta to come back in and cause a nice sell-off. Again, I'm not stepping in just yet. It can still go to 22, right? I'm waiting for it to tell me. I'm okay with being 1.5 points late for confirmation. Our D low is 1 tick above the half back on the day, so that is not the strongest buying. So it can just be mechanical, right? So if we do come back below, I'll look to fade. So if it does come, once I enter, I want to see it hold below 17. If we hold above 17 and I'm short from 18s or 19, I'll look to exit. Again, I'm just saying what I'm going to do once I enter the trade. I'm not in the trade yet. Some nice absorption at 20. So right now I'm just thinking of potential scenarios that could play out once, if I enter, if it comes. If we're holding above value area high and we're accepting above this area, I'll have to take it off. If we're holding below value area high, but we're holding above 17, right, I'll have to take it off. Ideally, I want to see it hold below 19 and reject back into value area high and back below 17, and then snap and build value lower. So if we do hold above 17 through 18 area and I'm short, I'm going to give it like 10-15 minutes to see what happens. If it starts to hold above and grind back up, I'll have to take it off. But if we start to reject 18 to 17, I can hold for a potential low of day snap and potentially even the 10-point target into the overnight low. Because if we reject the high for the day, our next target is going to be the low of day, which is at that point very close to the overnight low, and that could be my first target once I get short. So I could be risking 1 or 2 points for a potential 6+ point target, right? On the first piece, my target is going to be around the C low, right? So 4 points if I get in the 18, 4 points from the first target or so. But as of now, I'm still just watching. I'm just thinking of potential areas that could act as support or resistance, and it could either ruin the trade or accept. Like if the market holds above 17 through 18, once I'm short, I don't want to be involved. It's telling me that it's still strong, right? You want to see it get back into value area high and reject 17 if we're going to go lower. If that doesn't happen, then you have to exit the market. And this is regardless of what the internals are saying. This is just based off the profile. In my opinion, it's very good to have a plan. If this, then do this. If that, then do this. Like if you just enter the trade and you just hope it works out with a stop in, that's it's not the best way to go about it. I like to have multiple plans and multiple scenarios that could happen already played out in my head. So once they do happen, if one of them comes, I know what to do, right? I'm not just a deer stuck in the headlights. I like to be prepared, pretty much is what I'm saying. So I am still watching. The delta is still very positive. I'm gonna give it 10 minutes. If it holds below 20 within the next 10 minutes, I'll get short. If it starts to hold above 19, though, I'll look to exit or take it off and not enter. I'm still waiting to see. Yeah, this is a quick pop and now it's pulling back. That's normal, right? I'm waiting to see if it's real rejection or just a quick pullback and resume, right? Because this could just be a quick pop and pull back and resume against the high. I want to see it hold below the A high. I want to see the D period have excess. If the D period has excess in the next period, which opens up in 14 minutes from now, if we're holding below the A high, then I'll get short somewhere in the 18s. I'm still waiting, and yeah, by waiting, I may miss it, but I like to have the odds in my favor. So if we come back below 19 in this period and I don't get the short, if I miss it, I'll look to short pops into E period against 20. And obviously the delta being this positive, it's a good and bad thing. It's a good thing in that if we do fail above the 19, right, and come back below, you can expect some of this inventory to correct, right, and sell off. But with being so positive at the same time, they may just buy the dips, which is why I'm saying above 17, above 18, you want to see it reject, not hold above, because with this positive delta, if we start holding above 17, 18, you can expect that the guys who bought the market here are still buying it here, right? If we accept. I know it may be a bit confusing to some people, but you have to see it both ways, how it can sell off if we do reject and come back below, and how it also at the same time can be bought up if we accept. It's just, you have to see both ways. We're coming back in. I am still waiting though. I'm going to wait 9 more minutes until the E period is open. So once the E period is open, I'm going to see if this DXS holds. If it does, then I'll get short. But as of now, it can't be bought against the BC high and go back above, right? It could be just a dip buy for some people and come back above. And I don't want to get short too early just yet. I'm still waiting. Matt, you can decipher by the price action if we start to come back below and the buyers aren't there anymore. It's tick down, tick down, tick down, and the buyers are gone. Then you can expect, for example, under 17, under the POC, below the D low, you can expect some stops to get hit, which will cause the delta to come in a little bit. I know it's a bit much. Again, over time, it makes a lot more sense. The good thing though is AD is at the low of day, right? So that's pretty cool. Again, I'm waiting until the next period opens up in 7 minutes from now to see if this DXS holds. If you don't want to wait, it may be okay to start a short now, but just know that it is still a little bit too early, but it can pull back at this point. I have to wait still 6 more minutes until the next period opens up to see if this holds. But again, if you want to start, say 1/4, for example, with a 1 or 2 point stop, that's valid. I mean, if you're taking 1/4 size with a 1 point stop, it's like losing a 1 tick, right? On full size. So we rejected yesterday's POC. We're coming back below the A high. I still have to wait though for the E period to open back up to see if this DXS holds. And you also don't want to see it hold above 18 and build value out and build value higher, right? That's not what you want to see. So if you are short, you don't want to see it hold below value area high. I'm still waiting again. Guys, I'm starting short here. I'm short, guys, 18.75. If in the next period we open back up and we start to reject 18-17 area, I'll look to add more with a 2 point stop for a 4 to 6 point target. If anybody is wondering why I got short where I just did, it's because we were holding below 19.25. It was clear to me that if we go below 8.5, I could watch some stops, right? So guys, I'm looking to see if this D low snaps for a quick flush into the C low, and that's where I'll cover half, and then I'll hold the rest with a break even stop for and move below the overnight low. So again, you want to see it hold below 18, not above 18. If you hold above 18 and push back up into 19s, I'll look to cover it for a few tick loss. So my risk at this point, my risk really is at most maybe 1.5 points, and I'm looking to make 4 to 6 points on this trade, right? So it makes sense to me. So guys, at this point, if you hold above 18, I'll look to take it off. If you hold below, though, I'll add. I'm not looking to risk much on this trade. Like really, I'm not looking to risk more than a few ticks here. Right? Like in reality, you can lose this trade 7 times in a row, and it works once, and you make it all back, right? If your risk management is on point. So it makes sense for me. Okay, here's the flush. I'm at 1/2 for +4, guys. So again, at this point, the stop is going to be a break even. I'm looking for a retest of the overnight low. If you come in below the D low, it should our delta should correct a little bit more than this, and I do believe it, if we do come in below D and value area low, there's potential that we can retest overnight low and potentially give us 08s. So that's my target on the last piece. So at this point, your stop, it can be trailed to a hold above 17. If you start to hold above 17, the EF high and JL low, that's not something you want to see if you're short. But if you are, if you do hold above 17, though, I'd like to exit. So at this point, my stop is going to be trailed down to mid 17s. So worst case scenario, it's I'll exit for a 1 point profit if I get stopped out, or I get hit for a +6 or +7 below the D low. So again, if you are short, you do not want to see it get back above value area high. So if you got in with me 18s, I'd look to get out for a break-even stop. If it comes back above, you want to see it hold at this point below value area high. And our next target with the high of day fail and push back below is going to be our low of day, which at that point is very close to the overnight low. So if you're looking for a bigger trade, you can hold for the overnight low if we hold below the value area high, right? That's going to be our final target, the overnight low, if you hold below 18. If you hold above 18, though, I look to exit and look for the next trade. And you can expect some stops to be now at this point below CDE. So if we do snap 14.25, you can expect a quick wash, and that could also be a target if you're looking to cover into a wash. So this is the delta correction I was talking about. It's only a 2,000 contract correction, but it is something still, right? I'm looking for a bit more than this. Ideally, we come back to 6,000 into a positive delta of plus 6,000. 8,000 is not much, so I'm looking for the stops to get ran below 14.25, and that can give us the delta correction that we're looking for to cover the next piece into below 14.25. So I will cover some more below 14.25, and at that point, I'll just have one piece left for overnight low. That's it. It makes a lot more sense to wait, you know? I don't like to chase things around. I just like to wait for them to come to me. If they don't come to me, okay, it's fine. I look for the next one. Like today was a perfect example of waiting for it to come to you and then executing once you see it. That's it. So now I'm looking for a snap of the C low to cover into a quick wash for the next piece, and I'll have one piece left for overnight low, and that's it. I'll be done by the time it gets to 11:10. I'll be out the entire thing. Hopefully for a +7 on the last piece. That's the target for me. Also, if you are more conservative, if you do snap the C low and come back above and hold above 15, that also can be an exit for you if you are conservative. I have already locked some in for a decent gain, so I'm okay waiting it out and being stopped for break even. If it comes back above, I'm okay with being the break even stop. But again, if you are conservative, a hold above the C low can be an exit for you. I was expecting more than this, right? So I'm at 13s for the next piece. I would have expected a snap below CD. It did not come, and we're holding value area low now, right? So this can be an exit for you if you are conservative or haven't locked anything yet. But me, I will wait for my 13s and 10s. I'll wait. I don't care. So the delta still has room to pull back a bit more than this, right? So that's why I'm still holding it. If delta though already pulled back to 4,000 and we're at 15 only, I take everything off right now. But with delta still being at plus 7,000, 8,000 in this area, I can expect a bit more, right? A bit more sell than this. So I'm okay with holding. And ideally, you want to be out 1 point above the M low and the overnight low. So 11s, even against today's low, it could be a target. I'm looking for a snap of today's low and cover into the wash and in high 10s, but 11, 12s can also be a target for you. I'm looking to get on the last piece a decent exit, and I'll be done with it. Because ideally, if you fail above the overnight high, if you fail above the RTH high, the target is going to be the RTH low, right? So that's my ultimate target, a snap of the low, and then from there, I may even flip long if we get back above the B low and hold above the B low. I may even get long for a push back up into value. So I'll wait it out, see what happens with it. Also, if we take out the overnight low, so if we snap the B low and take out the overnight low, but then if we come back above and hold back above the overnight low, that can also be a long for a push back up into the POC. Again, the AD though is at this point at the low of days, so I would be careful on long side at this point. I'd rather buy 07, 08, right, in my zone over here than on a fast wash, then wait for it to come back above. You can play it both ways. If you're conservative, you can wait for confirmation. If you're aggressive, you can wait for a quick wash below overnight low to get other stops. 07, 08 for a long back up into this overnight ledge. It just depends how your personality is geared. Like if you're more conservative and you're more safe, waiting for confirmation is probably your best bet. If you're more aggressive, like I may be sometimes, a snap below overnight low, it can be okay for a quick pop back up into this ledge, 07, 08s for the long. So, and tick right now is holding negative, so that's good. Past half an hour, so our tick has been holding negative, so this is good as well. Again, if you hold above 0 and grind back up, my stop is at break even at this point. Above 18, I'll be out the trade. If you hold positive and grind back up, I'll be out above 18. And as of now, I'm just trailing it as we go. And guys, with the AD being at the low of day now, right,
if we do come back up above and retest the excess and fail, I'll look to get short once again. So if I get stopped out for break even above 18, and if you come back above the A high and fail once again, I'll look to get short. If you come back above and fail for the fail for a second time, then you can expect at that point a snap flow day is very high odds, right? If they push once, twice with no follow through, that's the confirmation. If you haven't entered already, or for a re-entry short. So I have no problem with the break even stop. I can always re-enter if it fails again, right? But what you don't want to do is hold it expecting it to come back in when the market is holding above value area high and the 17, right? The EF JKL. If it's holding above, you don't want to gamble and expect it to come back below, right? You have to respect the market. So if we hold above 18, I'll get out for break even. And a re-entry would be if a failure, they push back above a high and fail back again with the excess on the D period sticking. I'll look to get short once again for another round back at the lows. I'm pretty much trying to manage the risk as closely as possible while also trying to trail it and get the most out of it. Dylan says re-entry is short against a high. No. Dylan, I'm saying if you come back above and get above the A high and fail once again, and the D excess holds, right? If we say, for example, get 1 or 2 ticks above A high and that's it, and come back below, that's going to be the re-entry for the short. Yeah, cool. So again, I said this yesterday in the recap. I said, when you're expecting something to happen and that doesn't happen, that's a big clue, right? So in this case, I was expecting a snap below the DC low and wash, and that didn't come. So that was a big clue that the buyers were still active and absorbing and soaking, and the sellers were not really willing to sell down here, right? So that was the clue that whoever was being stopped out below 14 halves was pretty much only retail, right? So that was the clue. If it came back above CD, that told me a lot. I hope whoever was short and hasn't covered any, or did not cover any to the wash, at least covered a few above 15, right? It was pretty clear. So again, I have no problem taking off for break even and re-entering once if it fails again. Yeah, the delta is positive. So this is what I was talking about before, where with the delta, it's a double-edged sword, right? You can either see a correction or any flush back down. With delta being so positive, you can expect buyers to be active, right? So any flush back down, and that's what you saw. The delta is positive still and holding green, but they're not getting much out of this market at this point. So again, if we do come back down below 14, I am expecting a delta correction. I mean, the buyers at this point are just not getting anywhere with this market, and they're buying, right? So if we do come back down, you can expect a delta correction and a wash. Again, if we do snap 14 and don't go anywhere, you want to be careful and probably cover some up, because then it's going to hold against value area low. And again, if you see something that you did not expect to see, that's a big clue, right? So if I'm expecting a snap below 14 and it snaps by 1 or 2 ticks and that's it, and it comes back above, I'll take off another piece, because then that's confirmation for me that this market may not want to wash out just yet and may want to go higher, retest. If we come back below 14, hold, the buyers are active still and come back above the high. If they fail again to get anywhere above 20, then I can expect a wash back down into mid-teens, right? If anybody has any questions on my thought process, you can ask me in a DM or in the chat. At this point, I'm just watching and trailing my my position, so I'm not too busy. And this is why I'm balanced today, is I like to enter outside of value, right? Because if you're inside value, you can't just chop around, right? Until it breaks, or I can just accept the entire day inside value. So this is why on balanced days I really preach not taking any trades inside value and only outside of value, right? So outside back in on balanced days is the ideal trade to go with. Otherwise, if we're just in value, no trades. And if you're in a trade from outside value and we're inside value and shopping around, that should not make you nervous because we're just inside value and this is the fair price for the day. So you can expect it to hold here. But obviously, if we reject the high of day, the target ultimately is going to be a retest of the low of day. So I would just, if you're nervous and getting shopped around and seeing your P&L go up and down this value area, it's fine. It's just part of the process, right? All you can do is accept it. So the E low did stop a few ticks ahead of yesterday's half back, so that is a little bit mechanical. It's not exact, but the buyers are not the strongest today. So again, if we do snap 14 and only snap by a few ticks, hold value area low and come back above CDE, I'd look to take off a piece. Just being safe, right? Because ideally below CDE, there's stops, right? If there's no stops under 14, that's a decent tell. And I want to be out of one more piece short side if we hold above 14 after we snap it. If we snap it. I'm covering a piece low 13s. Ideally into a snap of 14, quick flush stops get ran. I cover some and then hold the rest for a retest of the overnight low. Okay, the bids are gone. Let's see if this goes below 14. And that's a poor low as well. Very mechanical, right? And guys, even though I see this, how the buying is very mechanical and how it can easily just snap and flush, I'm not attached. I'm not attached to the trade. Like, I don't care if I get stopped for break even. I can have the most conviction in the world and I'll respect my stop still. I'm not going to get attached to this and hope it works out when clearly it's if it goes above value area high, I'm wrong, right? Like, I'll get a break even stop on the rest. I'm not going to be attached to it and say, oh, look, the buying is so mechanical, this, that. I can come up with a million reasons why it's a great trade, but I still have to respect my stop, right? If you aren't going to respect your stop, the market was eventually one day is going to wipe you clean. So above 8.5, I have to be out straight for break even, and I'll look for the reentry. If it comes back above a high and fails and the excess and D period holds, I'll look for the reentry short for a snap of 14 later in the day. Value area low at A, B, E, F, very mechanical. Yep, mainly day traders in this market. There's no real big money anywhere in here. It's mainly just the day time frame players. So below 14, can snap their stops and wash them out. So to understand how to play that from a psychological level, those longs will get stopped under that, which could flush low. They potentially go back on its value. Well, okay. You have to imagine if you were a big boy and you were going to buy, and you know that there are stops below 14, you would save yourself a few points and buy below 14, right? Once the liquidity gets hit into the market, that's where you would buy. That's where I would buy, right? So if you're a big time frame player, you would most likely not be buying anywhere in here, right? So on that push, our tick high is only plus just about plus 200 or so. So that's, yeah, I'll look to get short any pushback above and failure. Like our tick is holding negative, right? Our breadth is nothing crazy, only 1.5 to 1 positive. Our tick is holding negative for 80 low of days. Any push back up and fail again, I'll get short for move back down below 14. I do think the 14 does snap sometime in the day today. Since D made new high and reverse, would you put any meaning on midpoint on D? No. Doesn't matter to me. Well, it does coincide with the BC high, so the high B and C is value area high for the day, so that means more to me than the D halfback. So if it holds above the BC high and value area high, I'm out the short. I'll look for the next entry once it's confirmed once again, if it comes. I'm at 13 for the cover, guys, for 1/3, which at that point I'll have 1/3 left. If we snap 14 by 1 or 2 ticks and come back above though and don't get the fill, I'll have to cover above 14.5, the 1/3. Almost there. I'm covering 13.5.
Order cancel. Order pending.
It's I was at 13.25. I'm at the half now. Thought it would come a bit more than that.
Order filled.
Okay, I got filled 1/3 more for plus 5.25, I believe. Yeah. The delta still has room to correct a bit more than this, right?
Order pending.
Guys, I'm at the last piece. 2 ticks below the low of day. If they snap it and flush this and grab their stops, I'll cover into them. I have no idea why this bid is here. He shouldn't be here. That's a bad buy for him. I don't know why he's doing that. It's right at the ledge. Pretty mechanical. I don't think this bid stays. I'm covering the last piece for a +7. Again, I have no idea why this bid is here. It's not it's right at the low of day, right against the overnight ledge, right at the prior day's close. It's just way too mechanical. I think this bid gets filled and then flushes. I don't think we hold this 12 level. Let's see if it gets filled. You can cover it all here if you want, the 12s, but I'm 1 tick below low of day. Again, the long at 12 is just very obvious, right? It's a very obvious level, so we may get a small bounce off it, but I do think this 12 goes. It's just way too, like everybody sees this 12 level, right? It's too obvious, you know. So whoever buys in here, under 12 to get flushed out and to get the stops to cover into. Again, I'm only 1/3 left. I've already covered most of it. Coming into the low, I'm just 1/3 in case we do snap the low. I'll cover into that. And again, the main target was, I did say, a failure above the high of day. The next target is going to be a retest of the low of day, and that's what we got. So if you haven't covered anything yet, I'd recommend covering at least half over here, right? If you're asking what the letters mean, if that's your question, okay. Each letter represents half an hour's worth of trade with the volume for each price on the right side. So for example, on Pacific, so this is going to be A period 6:30 to 7, B period 7 to 7:30, C period 7:30 to 8, etc., etc., etc. It's pretty much like a half an hour candlestick chart, but just a lot more organized for me. Dylan, if we do snap away and get to 0608, yeah, I'll go along with you. That was my level from the morning. So guys, at this point, if we do accept back above CDE, I'm not going to give everything back and get back and let the break even come, right? It's either we snap below 1415 or we shot back around value, and we have a poor high here as well, EF period poor high, right? So if we hold below CDE, I'll take everything off. I'll give it a few minutes though. It may pop back in, pop back out, but if we go inside and hold above and start to grind up, I'll take it all off for like a +3 on the rest. Again, I was being pretty funky, right, with the cover 1 tick below low of the day. It was honestly just for fun, like to see if it would come. I thought it would come, but it didn't come. So now a retest of the A high, fail, come back in, get short once again for the snap of 12. If 12 snaps and I get my fill, I'll look to get long. 1 second. Against that 0608s from yesterday, right? 1 sec. So yesterday that 0608s, the first test back into it, I'll look to get long. So that's my plan for now. At this point, any push back down to 12s, I'll cover it all up. Pretty much almost on the trade.
Order pending.
Take out some covering for a +5 on the rest at 1375. Again, if you hold above 14.5, I'd be careful. I'm honest, I'm close to taking all off like right now, to be honest. But the tick is keeping me in for now.
Order cancel. Order pending.
I'm taking off 14.25. I'm just trying to exit now at this point.
Order filled.
I'm all out, guys. 14.25 on the rest for a +4.5 on that piece. Short is done. I'm all out, guys. Okay, so now I'm taking a quick break to get a clear mind and get some fresh air, and then I'll come back in about half an hour and look for the next trade. See you guys soon. I'll leave the stream on though, just for whoever wants to see the profile.